The transfer window is finally closed, which means I can properly predict the Premier League table. This was my prediction a couple of weeks before the Premier League even started, but there's been a lot of games and a lot of signings, so let's just get straight into it. But before we do, please leave a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and let's get into it. Okay, so how we're going to do this is just go in name order. So here, Arsenal, I'm going to put them, not champions, I'm going to put them in the 1 to 4 spot for now, and then discuss more. Okay, Bournemouth. I've got a feeling that they might do like an 8 to 12. Only because the start of this season, you know, they drew to Newcastle, just about got beat to West Ham, and then obviously that comeback against Everton. But going 2-0 down to Everton is quite shocking. So I'm in the 12 and 13 range for now. I'll put them 13th in that lower mid-table for now. Aston Villa, I think it's gonna be a Europa League spot, 5th or 6th. Only because they're playing Champions League for the first time in ages. There's extra games. An extra 2 games in the Champions League that they're guaranteed for. Then if they're in the, I think it's like 9th to 24th spot, then they've got to play another. So I think they're going to be tired. I don't think they've got the squad depth. You know, they've made a few good signings. You know, they've got Onana, who's already scored 2 goals, but Ollie Watkins hasn't really looked on it either. So I'm going to put them in 5th or 6th for now. Next up, Brentford. I did have them 11th, and they're doing quite well. As I can see here, they've played 3, won 2, only lost to us. They beat Crystal Palace 2-1 and also Southampton 3-1. So I feel like that's quite fair. We'll put them in the higher mid-table for now. Brighton, I'm going Europa Conference League. In my prediction, I did have them, where are they? I had them 16th, but they've spent a lot of money. That Minter looks ridiculous as well. João Pedro on form. I think I definitely went wrong with that. Because they've looked so good this season already. Taking points off Everton, taking points off Arsenal, taking points off United. They're definitely going to be up there. Okay, next up I had Chelsea in 10th. I feel like that's just fair. They're not good, they're not bad. On the day, they can be. When they're not on the day, awful. It's just whether they want the day or not. Too many signings to go over as well. I don't think I can name you one positive out of that, you know. Sancho, maybe, and even then, he's a bit washed. Next up, Palace, I had 8th, but I don't feel like they will be 8th. I do feel like they'll be, you know, a bit more, you know, maybe just under Chelsea. You know, seeing, you know, Crystal Palace's form at the end of last season was just ridiculous. But it's not carried over as of yet. So, you know, if they get that, you know, form back, then maybe, but I just can't really see it happening. Everton, I don't know whether to put them in relegation or 17th yet. They lost 3 of their first games last season, and got a points deduction and stayed up. So, but they just don't look on it at all, do they? I'm going to put them in relegation for now, and I absolutely love it. Okay, Southampton, relegation, don't need to talk about it. I think everyone is in agreement there with Southampton going down. Fulham, I had 13th. I think that's fine. The 13th, 14th or 15th. Not much, you know, Smith Rowe, he's been okay. But they're just a not-on club, really, Fulham, aren't they? Like, they're not going to get relegated. They're not going to get anything. They're just in that just horrible bit of the table where you're just nothing. Okay, Ipswich, I'm going to put 17th. I do think they will survive. They have quite shocked me. Obviously, Liverpool played the first game of the season. First half, you know, they caused some trouble. You know, 15 minutes in, they scored against Man City. First 2 games having Liverpool Man City after coming up for years is crazy. And the fact that they caused trouble in both games and scored against Man City and then got the first point against Fulham. I do think they'll survive. I think, you know, against all the lower teams like Everton, Southampton, you know, all these, that's where they'll obviously get the points. Whether it's enough or not to survive, I think it will. I think they will just scrape it. But yeah, we'll just have to see. Leicester, I think they will come 19th. I just can't see them staying up either. Yeah, they're just awful. You know, they've still got Jamie Vardy. Don't get me wrong, I love it, absolutely love it. that, you know, he's still fucking scoring goals in the Premier League, but I just can't see them. I just can't see them staying up. Liverpool and Man City, we will put in here for now as well. United, I think they'll be 5th or 6th. I don't think they'll get top 4. And then I think Newcastle will get the 4th spot. Nottingham Forest as well. I think I'm going to put them in this lower table range. Spurs. Oh, actually, yeah, okay. I think what we're going to do is we're going to move Brighton down 1. We're going to move United down there. And then I think Spurs 6th. I think that's okay. Yeah, and then I think West Ham will do great in these, and then obviously also has to be Wolves, maybe. No, I think Wolves do worse. I think Wolves goes there, and Bournemouth go up here. Okay, now I've sorted them into sections, and now I need to go in order. So I think 20th will be Southampton, 19th I do think Leicester, and 18th Everton. Maybe swapping with Ipswich, but I think it'll definitely be one of them two. Then I do think Forest will be next. Then Fulham, then Wolves. So I think, no, I'll go Fulham over Wolves. West Ham have been decent. I think Brighton will do better than West Ham. I think West Ham will do better than Brentford. I think Chelsea will do better than Brentford, but not West Ham. Palace or Brentford, I think Brentford will do better, and then Bournemouth will be there. United, they're just shocking, aren't they? I mean, the attitudes and the way they played against us on Sunday was just absolutely abysmal. It's quite sad for me to say, because I really wish, and don't get me wrong, we played excellent, we did, we played unreal, but they just didn't even put up a challenge for us. You know, that could have been 5-6-0 again, you know what I mean? So I'm going United 7th. I think they'll obviously pick up points with a lot of them, but none of them. Tottenham, I actually did think I had them in my top 4, or maybe 5th, but me predictions did change just before the start of the season, but then after seeing how they've played, they've went back down to about here. So yeah, I think keeping them 5th or 6th, I'm gonna go with 6th. Aston Villa, we spoke about before. Like I said, you know, 8 Champions League games, obviously all the league games, FA Cup, Carabao. I think they'll be too much for the squad depth, so I think 5th is fine, because I still do think they beat a lot of teams here. Okay, Newcastle 4th. I actually am a little bit surprised by this myself, but you know, they have just looked sharp. Isaac is just on another planet. Even Anthony Gordon, Liverpool were in for him. Fabian Shaw, Bruno, Joelinton. They have a great squad. They're not in any, you know, Europe competition, so you know, they've only got to focus on the league and maybe a Carabao Cup or something, because they'll get knocked out of the FA. So, yeah, 4th for Newcastle. Now for the top dogs. Who's going to win the Premier League? Who's going to get 2nd? And who's going to get 3rd? It's actually so close. Arsenal, obviously, already dropped points. Liverpool haven't even conceded the goal yet. And Man City, I mean, Haaland's just a joke, isn't he? And I did have Arsenal to win the Premier League in my first prediction. I just thought Man City would just drop off. But I don't think they will, which makes me think they'll be champions. And then Arsenal or Liverpool. That's a tough one. Trying to not let biasy get to me as well. But I do genuinely think we put up a good fight this season. You know, we've not really got any pressure or anything. You know, we're in a transition season. And I just think that we'll just keep going and going. Like we'll just in a bit of like a cruise control kind of thing. But then, you know, we have got tricky fixtures. We've got AC Milan in a couple of weeks in the Champions League. Then we have Real Madrid, and then 3 days later have Man City, both at home. So we have got tricky games, so I'm going to put us 3rd. And that concludes my Premier League table prediction. Okay, so just a rundown. We've got Man City as the champions, Arsenal, Liverpool, Newcastle, Champions League, Aston Villa and Tottenham for Europa League, Man United for the Conference League, Brighton, West Ham, Chelsea, Brentford, Palace, Bournemouth, Fulham, Wolves, Forest and Ipswich in that nothing area, and Everton, Leicester and Southampton going down. This was based off all of the signings made in the transfer window and the performances so far. Maybe I'm close, maybe I'm not. Hopefully Liverpool win the league, but I just can't see Man City slowing down anytime soon. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you did enjoy, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I'll catch you all soon.
In the sky, gazing far.